What's up guys, Josh Fossgreen here, and this week we're going to learn how to tune our basses using two different methods. Method number one is super easy and anyone can do it as long as you sort of know the musical alphabet. First thing you need to know is that your strings should be tuned to E, A, D, and G. So E is the string that's closest to your face and furthest from the floor, and it's the lowest pitched string, and then up from there A, D, G. That's all you need to know. Just like the bottom four strings of a guitar, just down an octave. So, using a tuner, this is very easy to do. Step 0 is just turn the thing on. Step 1 is check the calibration. Not every tuner will have a calibration, but many of them do. And that just means the frequency that A, the musical note A, is in tune at. And you want it to be set to 440 in almost every, 99.9999% of cases should be tuned to A440 unless specifically instructed otherwise. So just make sure that it didn't get switched to 439 or 441 in the course of moving your tune around or whatever. So once you're calibrated, the next thing you do is just pluck one of your strings. Let's see, let me make one of my strings out of tune. Okay, so I'm going to tune my E string. So now I'm looking at my tuner and wow, I'm all the way down on an E flat now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn the tuner here in the direction that winds the string tighter, and that's going to depend whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise depending on which direction your string is wound around the post. But just see what it sounds like and see if the pitch is going up, which is what I want in this case. So now I'm climbing up and I'm almost there, and now I've got the green light in the middle, so where it go. So if you're to the left of in tune, you're flat, which means you need to tighten the string. If you're to the right of in tune, you are sharp, which means you need to loosen the string. And it's really that easy. You just turn these little knobs here, that's what they're for. Nothing bad's gonna happen. It really takes very small adjustments to get in tune. If you're on the right note, just flat or sharp, it's gonna be somewhere around a quarter turn or less. Really very minute adjustments. So beginners tend to crank them and you're on a D and you want to get to E and then all of a sudden you're up on a G and it's a little crazy. So just cool your jets, do small adjustments, and that's how you tune with a tuner. It's really easy. The only other thing I'll say about tuners before we move on to method number 2 is there are a lot of different types. There are some amps have tuners built in, which is cool. There are standalone tuners like this guy. There are pedal tuners that you can put in your signal chain, and then and those are all my favorite types of tuners, standalone pedal tuners and amp tuners. And then there are clip-on tuners that you can clip on your headstock and it'll read the vibration of the neck and tell you what note you're playing. I find that a lot of them are not that accurate for bass. They work okay for guitar and whatnot, but with the low frequencies, it just feels like the technology isn't quite there yet. So I'm not a big fan of headstock tuners. And also there are apps you can get for your smartphone, and while it's great to have an app like that on your phone, just in case you need it, it's really best to have some kind of tuner you can plug into because that's what gives you the most accurate read. Okay, method number 2 is tuning with harmonics. This requires a little bit of technique and a little bit of ear training. First of all, you need to know how to play a harmonic, which I'll just say in a very abbreviated form. Put your hand on your bridge pickup if you've got one, you'll get a better sound that way. Rest your pinky finger over the fret wire of the 7th fret, not pressing down, just lightly touching, and now pluck, and then let go with your left hand. So no pressure is applied with the left hand, just stick your finger there and pluck, and then you can take your finger away to avoid dampening the sound. So what we're going to do to tune with harmonics is we're going to use the fact that the 7th fret harmonic on a string should be the same note as the 5th fret harmonic of the next lower string, and vice versa. The 5th fret harmonic should be the same note as the 7th fret harmonic of the next higher string. So all you need to do this method is tune one of your strings with a tuner or check it with a piano or whatever, but you'll need at least one string for sure in tune to a reference pitch. But once you have that, so let's see, I'm going to detune my E, D, and G strings and leave my A string in tune. So here's how I tune with harmonics. I'm going to pluck my A string 7th fret harmonic, and I know the A string's in tune because I left that one in tune. And then I'm going to try to tune the E string, so I'm going to go 7th fret harmonic on the A string, 5th fret harmonic on the E string. And hear how bad that sounds. You hear that wobbling? That wobbling is called a beat frequency, and it's because the A the A string harmonic is here and the E string harmonic is here because it's flat. So that distance between them is creates an effective third frequency, which is called a beat frequency. So when I play this together, you hear that wobbly feeling. So all you do when you're tuning with harmonics is you turn the tuner on the out of tune string until that wobbling goes away and they sound like the same note and you don't feel any bad feelings. So to pluck them together, you can either just use one finger and pluck them sequentially, or you can use two fingers and pluck them together. Either way, I'm just going to pluck, leave the harmonics, they'll stay ringing. And then you hear how that beat frequency is wobbling, slows down, and then eventually disappears pretty much. So now that feels pretty good. And now if you listen for a while, you can still hear a phasing in and out because they're never really going to be exactly in tune. But it's close enough for playing music. So that's the E and A string. So now I'm going to take my A string again to get to the D string. Now I'm going to go 5th fret on the A string, 7th fret on the D string. So now I'm going to listen whether I think that's sharp or flat. Sounds sharp to me, so I'm going to loosen the D string until I hear that beat frequency go away. And that sounds pretty good. And if you're ever not sure whether the out of tune string is sharp or flat, you can always just crank it till it's flat and then go from there, because at first you won't quite be sure. But that's why it helps. Now let's go to the D and G strings, so we keep moving here. It helps to play the in tune string first, so your ear gets that as a reference, and then play the out of tune string. Well, I really detuned that one. So that's pretty obvious that that's flat. It's almost a whole half step. So I'm going to pluck those together, leave them ringing, and just hear that beautiful harmony arises out of the chaos. So that's how you tune with harmonics, just that little power chord shape, 5th fret to 7th fret harmonic. And then you can make pretty little chords with it. So that's how you tune with a tuner and with harmonics. I like to use the harmonics even if I've tuned with the tuner, because at this point I can just kind of get a feel for if I like how those strings are agreeing with each other, because there's a very fine range in which it'll still be sort of in tune, but you might want to you know, tune it sort of on the edge of either way depending on what you're doing. Like if you're using a lot of harmonics on the D and G strings, you might want to tune your D and G very, very, very slightly sharp, because as you go up the harmonic series, they get flat. So you can compensate by making the strings just a tiny bit sharp. So that kind of nuance is why I really like to tune with harmonics, even when I have a tuner available. And the best thing to do is to use both methods. You tune with harmonics and check it with a tuner, then make sure you like the tuner tuning with the harmonics. They're very complementary, and I still use both of them as a professional bassist on a daily basis. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you have any comments or questions, please post them below. I do read those and respond to them. And if you'd like to support me in continuing to make excellent bass lesson videos for everyone to enjoy, please check out my Patreon page, or you can make a one-time donation through joshfossgreen.com. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes!